it's this perfect balance of you can't settle, right? Because then you'll get into that potential scenario where you're not happy because you've picked the wrong person. But if you're too selective, you know what I mean? You're going to be that
You're
that
never
girl,
gonna.
girl that you talked about that's probably can afford to go to Italy and do vacations and do all this, and she doesn't have obligations, which sounds great, but then you're just alone. So what's the point?
Right.
So again, impossible question, but
Well,
how do you thread the
okay.
needle on that?
So women, they relate to the future differently than men when it comes to relationships because of reproductive limits. Okay. Men don't have reproductive limits. They can make babies when they're 70. Women can't. They've got a little window. So they're relating differently. So that's why you'll hear women say, I don't want to waste my time with the wrong guy. Because I don't have that much time and I want to be a mom one day. And so they're going to think differently about, you know, that for sure. Now, settling, let me just say this because people say this all the time. Don't settle. Don't settle. Everybody settles. Everybody settles. You know why? There's no perfect person. I'm going to hold out for the perfect partner. Good luck because you're never going to find them. You'll find something wrong with everybody. Or, well, I don't want to get married now because there might be someone better. There's always going to be someone better, always. And there's always going to be somebody worse. But that's why it's called commitment, covenant. I'm choosing to marry you and I'm going to stay married to you for the rest of my life. Even though there's always going to be other people around. But if you let your mind go there, you're never going to have a relationship. So you have to decide when it comes to settling, what am I willing to live with and what am I not willing to live with? Okay. Because yes, and that goes back to that accept and reject thing. So I can accept that he or she, they're not perfect. And that can be annoying occasionally, but you know what? I can handle it because there's so many other good things. So you just have to decide everybody's going to settle somewhere, but you get to choose where and how and when you settle.
Love that. Love it. Tony, you got anything else?
No, I appreciate the conversation. I think it's it's really refreshing because I think, as I mentioned earlier, it's frustrating to me to see these things being harder and harder to even have a conversation because there's
Yeah.
much emotional energy behind whichever camp you're in. And to me, it's like, hey, let's just be able to talk about it. And then it doesn't surprise me that you're resonating so well with males because I do think I have to say we being a guy is like there's been a little bit of a silencing of like the masculine energy to like, hey,
Mhm.
you don't get to choose, or you can't say that you want to be in a relationship where you are the masculine force. Like that's inappropriate. So for you being willing,
Mhm.
and it's sad that I have to use the word like old school a little bit, or just being willing to talk about how you feel and
Yeah.
your experience is refreshing because I think that's the best way for each party to be heard is like, hey, let's just lay the chips on the table, have a conversation, and whatever
Yeah.
decisions you want to make from there, go ahead. But we need people are unafraid to kind of have these conversations in an open and also with a high level of humility to say like, hey, we don't have the exact answer, but we can at least have a discussion surrounding it.
Right. Well, and I do get called old school, old fashioned, straight out of the 1950s. But back in the day, women still respected and valued men. And now, because I think big part of it is the feminist movement, they have devalued men, and the women are buying into that. And I think that's why some men have become more passive because they think it's wrong to be their masculine, aggressive self. And in the right way, it's not wrong at all. When the right way is to protect and provide for the vulnerable, for the innocent, then that's awesome. That's beautiful, healthy masculinity. And I stayed married for 44 years because I am old school. And if you look at the new ways in this new millennium that people are doing things, it's not working. There was not the divorce rate back in the 50s and before that there are now. And people will say, oh, it's because we have so many options now. Okay, but we're not animals. We still can make good choices and have morals and integrity, and yes, there's lots of options out there. It used to be that everybody kind of was just in their own little community and they met people in their own little community. But now, we can fly places, we can travel places, we have all these devices where we can meet other people from far away, and that is not within our community. So I think that's part of the problem also is that there are so many options out there, but that's where you have to decide as a good moral human being, I'm going to stick to what I chose in the beginning. This is the girl I fell in love with. and I'm going to stick to it. And unless, I'm hearing more and more people are getting divorced for just dumb reasons, like silly reasons. Oh, I got bored. Oh, yeah, well, my kids are gone now, and I'm just kind of bored with him. He's not abusive. He's not an adulterer. He doesn't have any crazy addictions. Why would you divorce? Like, there's so much better stuff out there. Like, I don't get it. Like, no, you made a commitment, stick to the commitment. That's honorable. That's respectable. Unless, there's like, I know there's some times in relationships where it gets really, really bad or violent or whatever. And then, yeah, of course, you got to remove yourself from that stuff. But
I got one more question for the fellas.
okay.
Throw them a softball. So, fellas, if you're listening, take notes because Danielle might give us free advice here. All right. One of the questions was, what is something women secretly wish men understood about them? And maybe you've already hit it in a lot of what you said, but hey, fellas, here's your chance to tune in and, help you out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I would first say, don't have secrets from your man. Okay. Don't just secretly wish it. If there's something you wish, tell him, talk to him about it. And the next thing I would say, probably, again, it probably changes from woman to woman, is don't ever stop pursuing her. What it took to get her is going to take to keep her. Don't quit pursuing her. There's something in a woman when she doesn't feel desired that she starts to wither. Okay. She needs to feel desired by her man. And if she doesn't feel desired by her man, when she gets compliments, when she's out and about by other men, she is going to perk up. Okay. Because women love, I think one of a woman's biggest questions is, am I beautiful? Do you see me? Am I captivating to you? Like, women need to know their man is interested in them. Not all men, but their man. Okay. So always pursue her, date her, do the things you did when you were dating, and don't let that go. Don't ever let that go. And secretly wish. I think even strong women want to be with a man that they feel that is stronger than them, that they is more, even a masculine energy woman. If she is with a masculine man who takes the lead in a good way, in a healthy way, not in a mean way, okay, but leads her gently, that she'll just become putty in his hands. She feels safe. She can trust him. He has integrity. He keeps his word. I'll do anything he wants. And I think it's the same goes for men. If a woman is appreciating him, honoring him, respecting him, telling him she appreciates his strength and his masculinity, he'll do anything in his power to give her anything she wants.
Yeah, I love a quote just popped into my head, and I'm going to butcher it, and I actually don't even know who said it originally, but this is for more of the guys. It said, be the man every day that you pretend to be on the first date with a woman. And think about that.
That's good. Yes.
Who you present that.
Yes.
And you are, and it's not that you're being disingenuous. It's just that you're bringing that best version of yourself forward.
Yep.
You can do that.
Yep.
Actually,
that's right.
What I often think about, because it's such a great quote, is like, become that man every day. You know what I mean? That you date and maintain it, and you will,
right.
You'll live a good life then.
Totally. Yeah. And it goes both ways though, too.
Of course.
We all get comfortable in a relationship, and before you know it, we're wearing sweatpants and,
right.
like you never, it's like, oh, well, I got him in the bag, so I don't have to, so that's a good lesson. And, always treat it like it's that honeymoon period, sneak notes in their car, this and that. That's such a good advice. Because I think most probably don't do that. They get out of that phase.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's familiarity. They get familiar. They start to take each other for granted. And, because I was so young getting married, I had a lot of older women around me. And I remember them telling me, don't ever be that woman when your husband comes home that you've got curlers in your hair and a mask on your face, and you're looking ratty and not sexy and stuff. And I bought that. And I remember women saying, you look your best everywhere you go. Like, everywhere you go, in home or outside of home, look your best. And I always did that for my husband, because not just for him, I did it for me, because it made me feel good about me. I didn't go to the gym. I was a personal trainer and taught Group X classes for 20 years. And I didn't do that because my husband wanted me skinny. I did it because what it did in me, and it made me feel good about me. And that was one of our deal breakers early on before we got married. His family, he came from a very obese family, and he was an athlete, and I taught classes. And I said, that will never work for me. I go, that's a deal breaker. I go, you need to take care of your health, because That's something I admire in people. And he said, same here. I said, okay, it's a deal. And we've always been gym rats and, doing physical activities and eating right to keep ourselves our best selves, and again, not for each other, but for ourselves. Because when you feel like you're your best version of yourself, that's how other people are going to treat you at that best version.